Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to talk about a metal that you see pretty much every single day, but you probably don't give it a second thought. I'm talking about copper. It's in our walls, it's in our pockets, and believe it or not, it's shaping our entire future. So let's dive in.
You guessed it, the answer is copper. Think about it. This one reddish-brown metal is the unsung hero that connects our ancient past to our crazy high-tech present. And it really holds the key to our green, sustainable future. It's a story that's been thousands of years in the making.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to see how copper was forged in the earth. Then we'll look at how we get it from rock to refined. After that, we'll explore why it's the conductor of modernity, uncover some of copper's other superpowers, and finally, we'll find out why some people call it the forever metal.
All right, let's get right into it. To really get copper, we have to rewind the clock. I'm talking millions of years, way before humans were even in the picture. Its story literally starts with the formation of our planet.
So you might be asking, where does all this copper even come from? It's not like you can just find it lying on the ground. The best way to think about it is to imagine the Earth as this giant cosmic pressure cooker. For millions and millions of years, you had incredible volcanic heat, superheated fluids, and the just immense crushing force of tectonic plates, all working together, concentrating these tiny bits of copper into the rich ore deposits that we mine today.
And these copper hotspots, they're scattered all over the globe. We're talking about huge producers like Chile and Peru down in South America, the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Africa, and then you've got China, the United States, and Australia in the mix. It really makes the world's copper supply a truly global and, sometimes pretty complex operation.
Okay, so we found the copper. Now for the next stage. You see, getting that rock out of the ground is just step one. Turning that rugged, raw ore into the shiny, pure metal that we all recognize, well, that is a whole other story. It's a massive industrial process.
So this transformation from rock to pure metal, it's basically a four-step journey. First, you've got the mining, obviously, getting the ore out of the earth. Then we concentrate it, which is just a fancy way of saying we get rid of all the useless rock. Next up is smelting and converting. This is where we use some serious heat to create a rough version called blister copper. But for the final magic touch, it goes through something called electrolytic refining. You can kind of think of it like a high-tech spa day for metal, where we zap away every last little impurity.
And the result of all that hard work? You get copper that is 99.99% pure. And let me tell you, that incredible level of purity isn't just for bragging rights. It is absolutely essential for the kind of high-tech electronics and wiring that our entire modern world runs on. Oh, and get this. Here's a really cool bonus. The leftover gunk from that refining process, this stuff called anode slime, well, it's packed with valuable byproducts. We're talking gold, silver, even platinum. So in a way, pretty much every major copper mine is also a secret precious metals mine. How cool is that?
So now we have this incredibly pure metal. The big question is, what do we do with it? Well, this brings us to copper's #1 job, its most famous role, the one thing it does that makes our entire modern society possible, and that's conducting electricity.
Now look, sure, other metals can conduct electricity. Silver is actually a bit better, but copper is the total package. It's an amazing conductor, it's durable, and importantly, it's affordable. That winning combination is exactly why it's known as the gold standard for pretty much anything electrical.
And its impact it's literally everywhere. Just stop and think about it for a second. Those huge power grids that light up our cities? Copper. The electric motors in your car, your fridge, your washing machine? Copper. The tiny, complex printed circuit boards inside your smartphone? You got it, copper. And now the massive wind turbines and electric vehicles that are building our green future? All of it, absolutely all of it, runs on copper.
But hey, if you think of copper as just a conductor, you're really selling it short. This metal is way more versatile than that. It's got a whole suite of other superpowers that make it incredibly useful in some completely different and pretty surprising ways.
Let's just look at 3 of its other big talents. For one, its high thermal conductivity, its ability to move heat around, makes it essential for things like radiators and air conditioning. Then there's its natural antimicrobial property. This is wild. It actually kills bacteria and viruses on contact. That's why you often see copper doorknobs and surfaces in hospitals. And finally, its corrosion resistance. It just doesn't rust easily, which is why copper plumbing and roofing can last for a century or even longer.
But what if you could take those natural talents and make them even better? Well, that's exactly what we do when we create alloys. Think of it like a recipe.
You take copper, add some zinc, and poof, you get brass, perfect for things like musical instruments. Or you take copper and mix in some tin, and you get bronze, the legendary metal that literally defined an entire age of human history and is still tough enough for things like modern ship propellers.
And all this brings us to copper's final, and maybe its most important superpower for the 21st century. In a world that's so focused on sustainability, copper turns out to be something of a miracle material. We call it the forever metal.
Now here's something you probably didn't realize. A huge amount of the copper we use today isn't new. It's actually been used before. We recycle it from old pipes, old wires, old electronics, which makes copper an absolute champion of the circular economy.
And the environmental payoff for doing this? It's massive. Recycling copper uses up to 85% less energy than making it from brand new ore. I mean, that is a staggering amount of energy savings, which dramatically cuts down on greenhouse gas emissions and the need to dig up more resources.
And you want to know the best part? Recycled copper isn't a downgrade. It's not second best. It is just as good as the new stuff. You can melt it down and reuse it again and again and again, pretty much forever, without it losing any of its incredible properties. It really is the ultimate reusable resource.
So this whole forever metal thing is really just the latest chapter in a super long story. I mean, think about it. 10,000 years ago, our ancestors were hammering raw copper into basic tools. Fast forward a bit, and it kicks off the entire Bronze Age. Then in the 1800s, it completely changed everything by making widespread electrification possible. It literally lit up our world.
And you know what? That story is far from over. Today, that very same ancient metal is right at the heart of our most advanced, future-facing technologies. You simply cannot build a modern wind turbine or a solar panel or an advanced energy storage system. You can't even get into the mind-bending world of quantum technologies without tons and tons of copper.
So that leaves us with a pretty big thought. Copper has been fundamental to human progress for millennia. And its importance is only getting bigger as we race towards a green, electrified economy. So the real question for all of us is this. As global demand absolutely skyrockets, how are we going to secure enough of this incredible forever metal to build the future that we all want?